It is a contrast in styles, no question about it. Very hard to pick which way this game will go here at Optus Oval. Half-time, 6:42 apiece. We'll take a break and update you with other scores from around the country. You're watching Sunday Football.
McLeod, long drop punt from just outside 50. He has kicked 3 so far today. Misses. Big fly, McLeod. Big win inning. Don't go anywhere. Bickley, a piece of brilliance. Claws gets up high.
National 9 News at 6. We know our football.
If you're frustrated with dial-up internet, switch to iPrimus Broadband and enjoy an always-on, frustration-free internet connection.
How can I have a 10 out of 10 Easter?
With a thermos travel mug with M&M's, $7.95, plus a Piranha vacuum cleaner with handheld vac, $119, plus this Bugs Bunny tumbler, $3.95 when you spend $20. That adds up to 10 out of 10.
You can't beat 10 out of 10.
Mine at 10. Catalogue out now.
Does your business use CabCharge? You can download everything you need to know, including an application, at cabcharge.com.au.
One card, one statement, one word. CabCharge.
The summer's been hot. The training has been hard. Gut-busting. Heart-wrenching. But we have the passion to go all the way in 2003. Buy a club season ticket and make this our year. Call the Power Hotline, 8447 9900 now. Turn up to Amy Stadium and together let's turn on the power.
8:30 Wednesday.
I am really, really sorry.
Be scared stiff.
I just dropped a real stinker.
Nothing sacred.
Because your husband's going to be fine.
Comedy Inc. 8:30 Wednesday on 9. Saturday, Whoopi Goldberg, Mary Louise Parker and Drew Barrymore in the feel-good comedy that'll make your spirits soar.
Don't tease the animal.
Boys on the Side.
I'm not going over a cliff for you two.
Saturday on 9.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by Amy, Primus Telecom and Crazy Johns.
Welcome back to Optus Oval, beautiful grassroots suburban football, and they're witnessing a fair contest on a gorgeous day. 6 goals, 6 apiece here. Hickmott 2 for the Blues and Sean Burgoyne 2 for Port Adelaide. It is a glorious day here in Melbourne. I believe it is in Adelaide as well, where the other game is underway between the Adelaide Crows and the West Coast Eagles. Here are the first half highlights.
Wheels around, here comes the king, and he's going to get it. Listen to the Adelaide crowd. This, his club's first of the day if he kicks surely. Straight through the middle. He's on the board, and he's back in town. Long ball. Bickley could get on the end of this. It's going to bounce nicely for him. The two-time premiership skipper outside the 50. Loads it up. Stevens stands his ground with Glass. The latter did really, really well. Footy on the ground. Still Adelaide in good position. Stevens picks it up. Around the corner. Got it.
In the grass, got it away. This is Rashudo.
Lots of talk about him not taking his place in the Adelaide Crows team this week. Mark Rashudo, ankle problems, has already found plenty of the ball. This looks dangerous. Through half forward, there's lots of room for Adelaide. Laddams, left foot, long one. Could go all the way. Will go all the way. Looking for, but not finding a teammate in Haynes. Steps around, now goes to ground. Handball over the top. Rowan Jones tight in the corner. Around he comes. Jakovic stands his ground. Well done. And his first for season 2003. Kick on the way, right through the middle. West Coast get their second.
Kicks down towards half forward. Benny Hart leads back in the race. Coming across to assist is Tawney. Fletcher runs on, beat the tackler. Now a chance for Sampi. Sampi snaps. It's a wonderful effort. Freakish goal. He's in two minds here.
He'll have to, Dennis, because I reckon he's no chance on his right foot because he's a big hook foot, even though he's accurate.
If I'm standing the mark, I'm thinking to myself, this man can't be trusted. Philip Matera, well, he can be trusted. He kicks very tight. He likes it. What a goal!
And it does look to be a fair contest over there at Amy Stadium. The game's still in progress. If you don't want to know the score... Scores level here at Optus Oval between Carlton and Port Adelaide. We will take a break, I should say. We'll have a crack at the hot cross buns that Brian Taylor and Dwayne Russell have knocked off in copious amounts, and we'll be back for the second half at Optus Oval on Easter Sunday football.
Another night of violent protests at Baxter. 17 more arrested. And Darren delivers, making his first Test century.
In the end, it was Spalding that paid the ultimate price.
Putting trees before people.
Just the little things that you miss.
Pig-headed council stopping you protecting your family and your home.
Change the tree preservation order now.
When Nissan presents A Current Affair with Ray Martin.
I mean, I've been into a supermarket before and there's been barcodes on a plastic bag and it's been twisted around like that and they've been trying to scan it and trying to scan it and trying to scan it and trying to scan it. And it can just go on for days. I mean, it could go on for days. I mean, obviously common sense would prevail and they'd just put the number in. But I mean, that's the sort of thing that really, I mean, that's why you have barcodes. So you don't have to put the number in, so you don't have to put the number in, then pull that handle down on the cash register. I mean, it used to take years. I mean, well, that was obviously before my time, so I can't really imagine that, you know, I can only imagine that it took years. But I mean, with something like this, I mean, that's a good service.
G'day. You know, I could easily damage this using the wrong kind of sander. I need orbital action to lift the paint, and I need a detail sander for these delicate mouldings. With the Black & Decker Sandstorm, I've got every job covered. It's got lots of grunt, and changing bases is too easy. It simply converts for detail work, and metal's also no problem. For the amazing new Sandstorm from Black & Decker.
The energy market's getting tough. Things are changing. We need an edge.
Well, let's look at the options.
When it comes to business thinking, chartered accountants have the superior training and business experience to guide your business in the right direction.
When would you like to start?
Start right now.
Easter is the perfect time to get into Bunnings Warehouse and get everything you need for that Easter project. Snail and slug pellets, just $1.25. 500-gram Osmocote, 2 for $5. 6-litre interior acrylic, only $37.90. 13-piece screwdriver set, $5.99. And 9.6-litre plastic buckets, only 65 cents each. We won't be beaten on price. And that's guaranteed.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Week after week, I go into the streets and meet all sorts of very interesting people. If aliens were looking for intelligent life forms, they'd be very disappointed. Yep, I met a lot of crazy fans.
But now I'm proud to tell you I've become a true crazy fan myself. And why not? Crazy Johns are the best mobile phone retailers in the country because everyone knows they give the best deals. Crazy Johns are #1 for mobile phones. Call 13 22 99.
Crazy Johns, we love you, mate!
8:30 Wednesday.
You saw it first on the great outdoors. You like Robin Browntree. You're going down!
It's the bout of the travel shows. Be scared, nothing sacred. Comedy Inc. Wednesday on 9.
With the poise of a tiger and the grace of a butterfly, it's no wonder we've got the opposition floored.
100%.
This week we're back making a racket at our regular time.
Fair income.
The Footy Show, 9:30 Thursday on 9.
Motivate me.
Both sides back on the ground as we prepare to kick off this second half. Scores a level at 6-6 apiece, and Brian Taylor, I'm not sure which way you favour, but this is going to be a most entertaining second half.
Well, I reckon Dennis Pagan has got them exactly where he wants them, and that is in a nice, tight, physical contest, and one that has not found a lot of free space. On the other hand, Dwayne, Mark Williams would be wishing for a little bit of open space just to open the game up, but he has done it pretty well with an underman size, I would have thought.
Certainly has. Down on the boundary line, Michael Roberts.
Don't worry about the soft mouldeds or the grass catters. Mick Martin's got about 2 ton of aluminium stops in his Nike, so he won't be falling over at all. But just a couple of things to... sirens that. A couple of things to keep a look at is Brett Montgomery just in front of us. Something clicked in his knee, out of place, right out of whack. He actually grabbed it and put it back in, a bit like Jared's mate, Darren Kresel, used to do. And also Anthony Koutafidis, I've just been assured by the Carlton runner that I know pretty well. They said it's a corky, it's up high, they're strapped it. He's out there at the moment warming up with the boys, so should be okay.
Good on you, Robbo. Thanks a lot for that. 2 crumbs of hot cross buns I got down there. Absolutely nothing as Brian Taylor mops up once again. A couple of blood rules there. Young McCormick was great when he came onto the ground. Had 8 possessions against Byron Pickett. He does find the footy.
And he's also got a fair bit of head dressing there. He's been opened up, B2. I know it's Simon Beaumont.
There's 2 of them, actually, Jared.
They've applied the hemorrhoid cream. What's that there, B2?
That's a bandage there, Jared, but he would have a couple of staples under that. They would have taken the cream off by now and gone to the staples to rely on, you would have thought.
It's a big game, this one. It is a big game of footy. Don't worry, at half-time here, both sides locked away. They'd love to get another victory under their belts. Mark Williams would have this side fired up. They've got to find a way through half-forward with a little bit more direction and purpose. They've got Brogan, who's going to go and play down the goal square. That should give them the confidence to go long and just let him compete and try and create some crumbs. They've just spent too much energy without enough return.
Going to be a fair bit of focus on Anthony Koutafidis, particularly early. He went off with a corky just prior to half-time, and first 10 minutes will tell if he's going to see the match out. All tied away to start this second half at Optus Oval, where the Blues did not win a game last year for the first time in their history. Laid in the ruck now against French, and he dumps it towards centre half forward. Beaumont under there somewhere. Pickett stolen, tried to get it away, couldn't. Stevens picks up. Umpire will bring it back though. And Nick Stevens has a new opponent. It's a good move, this one. They've put Scott Camporelli onto him. Camporelli being tagged out of the match, so put him onto the cheap ball winner for the opposition. Thornton wide, Beaumont, the 2 men with their heads bandaged, almost clashed heads, and Beaumont took the mark.
He can go McCormack short. He decides to centre it slightly to Murphy. Murphy now to McCormack. He stood there for a long time by himself. Driving ball forward, pack forms.
Great punch.
Mark needed, nothing there. Port defensive skills, good. Ball up as Wakeland happy to hold it in and under early in this third quarter.
Big challenge for Port Adelaide. Their third quarters this season have been absolutely woeful, as you can see from the graphic down there. So they need to get themselves up and about here. Foreign territory. They don't want to give Carlton a sniff early in the third quarter.
Have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals in this game, Port. Hardwick dashing off half-back, driving ball to true centre-half forward. Lappin got interfered with, no free kick. Brogan, the basketball-style tap-down. Lappin wrapped up in the tackle by Corns. And we'll have a ball up centre-half forward for Port Adelaide.
He's come of age, Chad Corns, as a player, and it's going to be tough for him, Gary, but this will perhaps give us an idea of how far he's come. He was being quiet in the first half. The game needs to be won in this term.
Well, his father was a superstar in South Australia. Victoria's football audience didn't get to see the best of him. Carr picks up Kenny, finally, eventually, just outside 50. Cochrane, back to Carr. Runs to 51. High drop punt to full forward. One-on-one contest. Good punch clear. Sean Burgoyne couldn't get both hands near it. And the ball rolls out of play, and we'll get a ball in. McCormick on screen.
It's a big challenge for Port Adelaide at this ground. They, without their skipper, of course, Warren Trudray, Josh Franco, we know not here. Some of these players need to assume that responsibility to get them across the line.
Brogan, tapped down. Carr falling over. One would hope with change the boots because this particular side of the ground is quite moist.
He was the worst offender, Brian, in the first quarter, no question about that. Those stops there, I think, may have been the long variety of.
Gary with a good hard look at those.
He's made a couple of unusual mistakes, though, for a player of his talent, Josh Carr. He had a bit of an interrupted pre-season. Perhaps he's just getting into stride.
So a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for Port. So they attack to the legend stand end in this third quarter. Carr hovering over the top, pursued by Hume, who eventually finds the ball. Clean hands not there on this occasion. McKay, support from Lappin. Beaumont always under pressure and off balance. McKay tries again. This time he goes the underground handball.
Dead set deliberate, and the umpires are kidding themselves that they don't get this right.
Well, that would be the equivalent distance for a handball to a kick to the Chris
Where
Scott
was he
thing.
handballing that?
I agree with you. It was certainly going for the boundary line.
Back into play. Brogan almost tapped it down. Lappin fell. McKay has kept it in. Good tackle, mate. Cochrane's got him. Umpire says play on. He got it out just in time. Brogan. Now they've got him. Can he get it out?
Tell me.
Holding the ball. I've got to tell you, Gary.
That umpire, there's some consistency issues here.
He is umpiring according to the crowd noise at the moment.
Well, it's the least consistent with his inconsistency, Gary. Houlihan. The cross the ground towards Beaumont. Flies, takes the mark.
Umpire Matthew Nichols that Gary was referring to so strongly is Beaumont. On the edge of the square, driving ball to centre half forward. Kane Corns over the back, mops up. Short ball finds Lade. Lade at half back. Centering ball to Hardwick. Now they need the release player. And here he is, driving forward. Port once again. Mark's been taken strongly by Brogan. In a contested situation with French. Kicks wide. Schofield found space. He can run almost all the way to 50. He goes the short kick to Burgoyne on the lead. It was beautifully presented. And it was a magnificent lead as well from Sean Burgoyne.
Look at the grace of this fella, the way he takes his football. That is just pure skill and balance.
They've got a winner there, Jared. They have got a winner to playing out of the goal square. They've just got to find a way to get it to him. They lost their way. Yeah, they went sideways. They overused the football in that second quarter. You gave us the stats for the second quarter. They've got a winner in the goal square. Their sole focus should be to get it to him as quickly as they can.
Well, let's have another look at the preparation of Sean Burgoyne. 2 goals won today. Into the legend stand in. Not a lot of wind here today. It's a magnificent afternoon in Melbourne today. And there is the confronting task. Burgoyne looking for some bend. Nothing there.
You've ruined him, Brian. You have ruined him.
He has missed a couple of sitters.
Well, for such a balanced player, his run at the goals just prior to kicking is anything but.
Bit of Nathan Brown in that, Jared.
Yeah, you just need to address that a little bit. Go back and just get a bit of fluidness about the way he runs.
Lappin wide to Murphy. It's a few boos in the back pocket.
Having a go at me there, Gary Williams.
Absolutely, you are the most precious person. He's got to run harder at the
Back
ball.
to the game. Fisher pounces. Rolls it in front of Hume, and Hardwick got there first. Crutch, good tackle. Got rid of it somehow. Houlihan inside 50. Lade might get back first. Might sink the sanctuary the boundary line. He's caught. And the umpire says toss it in.
So, Gary, Nathan Brown is yours when he's on the run and kicking those miraculous goals, but he's mine when they're having set shots, is he?
Let's have a look at this
very
tackle.
good tackle, this. This is where the urgency comes into it. The game is in the balance. I just said they needed a bit more momentum forward, both players when kicking for goal, Brian.
Burgoyne brothers today, 3 goals, 5. Between them, Paxman.
Oh, that's a free kick as well.
Advantage will be paid. Montgomery. Onto the running Stevens. Some dynamic running through the middle from Stevens with a couple of bounces and a long ball. Byron is back there. Corns across the face. Chad Corns has marked just a couple of metres out on a very slight angle.
I think what Port Adelaide have added to their game in this quarter is that electrifying run for defence as Chad Corns goes back, and there's no doubt there.
They make me feel better sometimes because I look at my book of barcodes and sometimes when I'm feeling like adrift in the world and I don't really know my place or something's going wrong, I can look at the barcodes and I can think there's something that knows certainly what it's meant to do. It has one task and it gets that information across. It's really beautiful in a way. They're quite the most delightful things. They give me great comfort, I suppose, with their single mission in life.
Port Adelaide out to the biggest lead they've had for this game so far. 7 points. Ball back in the middle. Two ruckmen to go at it this time will be French and Lade. Lade laid it down beautifully to Kane Corns. To half forward. Oh, he rode that well, Davies. He was lucky to get out of it, and so was the Port Adelaide player who got him high. Carlton wide. Nice pass from the boot of Thornton, found Fisher. High kick. Players fly, big pack up, and Montgomery stayed down and bounced. Port Adelaide away with the spare man. Hardwick will go to him. It's Pickett. Byron on the outer side wing gets some booze. Stevens gathers. Camporelli tries to corral him. Told to play on. And he gets around Camporelli. Goes with the pass option. Too high over the head of Sean Burgoyne, and Lappin just mops up back pocket for the Blues.
Down the middle to Hume, who was unmanned. They run here in numbers. The Blues driving ball through the middle of the ground. Spawn, long kick been marked in the end by Bishop. The give off the back, plenty of time here for Montgomery just to settle and pick the correct option. He does just that to Schofield. Back to Wanganeen. Wanganeen with a kick over the top. Finds Polton. Started the day on the bench today. Jared Polton, short ball, Paxman. Paxman able to run on centre wing. Drive inside 50, Chad Corns. Straight through the hands, over the back, Carr. Carr thought about the handball, right foot snap at goal. Across the face, just the minor score there.
A much more efficient style of play, though, now Port Adelaide. Just driving the ball through the middle of the ground. They're generating a hell of a lot of run. Let's have a look at this. This was almost an old-fashioned coat hanger, but
not almost.
He softened it a little bit, did Chad Corns, so there'll be no further problems with that one as far as tribunal is concerned. Short pass from fullback, found Camporelli. Lappin gave it to him, and Camporelli gives it to McKay. Couple of bounces from the veteran towards the wing. Brogan beaten to it by French, couldn't hold the mark. Almost a throw to Houlihan, got away with it. Whitnell gets there, might have got a free, did get it for him against Paxman.
See, the style of play's almost been reversed here. It's Carlton who've been forced to go a little bit shorter, trying to spot up the target.
Whitnell high to the goal square. Hickmott tries to get back. Corns! Great mark, getting all the way back to fullback to take that to centre-half forward.
Favola giving Whitnell a huge pay out there for not kicking the ball short on the lead. He was out Favola, but he was on a difficult angle if he had received it. Ball kicked out to centre wing, just in front of the interchange area. Roger James just on the ground, unable to control the loose ball at ground level.
We spoke about, Gary, the challenge for this bloke to lift after he'd been relatively quiet in the first half, but Chad Corns has started this second half like he's going to win it for Port Adelaide off his own boot.
Ruck contest developing there. Carr also working hard in this quarter. Feeds the handball out to James. Kick to the hot spot. McKay across the front.
Here he goes.
Try to knock it out. Corns again. Free kick though. Pickett was out as well and he was on his way. McKay has got it at half back.
Beaumont the option. Space opens up. Gives it to Hickmott into that space. Good lead, good mark. He's a player that's not difficult to admire, Adrian Hickmott. He's such a hard worker. Generally puts his body where it can be hurt. Hardwick goes for the boundary. That was his only intention. And it'll be a ball in. Adrian Hickmott. As Favola just checks the stubble on Montgomery's chin.
It's a bit slower. The ball coming in's a bit slower. That allows Port Adelaide to get their numbers back. Don't fancy themselves, given their record here at this ground, Port Adelaide.
Yeah, to say Geelong would still rue the fact they gave Hickmott away. And Hickmott's got it again. In tight. Hume in tight. Kick half smothered. Ricochets laterally. Davies high toward the goal square. But it goes all the way at white. Montgomery takes a good mark. Had that cleared the pack.
This is where the alarm bells start ringing for Carlton. Lane is on the rebound.
Murphy and Stevens. Stevens. Murphy. Ball. Boundary line. Wanganeen. Put Adelaide away.
Wanganeen. Couple of bounces. Great support there as well. Kick inboard finds James. They've got players on here if they can control the ball. Schofield. Back to James. He'll run towards goal. Didn't have to stop. Gives the handball off to Wanganeen, who's run all the way from the back pocket. Lines up the goals! Team lifting goal from Gavin Wanganeen.
Chartered Accountants bring you another great moment. In round 4 last year, Adelaide travelled to Melbourne to meet Essendon. The Crows went down, but Scott Welch got up.
Welch! Oh, Welch! What a mark! It was an absolute screamer. It won't hurt when he looks at the video and that for the next 25 years, I can tell you, Ben.
Delivered with precision by Chartered Accountants. CA, employ our thinking.
3 goals in a row to Port Adelaide, and now Carlton being asked the question. 10.5 minutes remaining, third term. French doing the right work against Lade. Lade took it out of the ruck. Wobbled a kick towards attacking 50. Cochrane was there. Somehow, Sean Burgoyne rolls it towards full forward. Playing in front, Livingston. He's given it away. Straight back for Burgoyne. Goal! He's got 3.
Well, it was well done, Jared. Luke Livingston did exactly what needed to be done as a backman. He backed himself, he got the front position. You see a little push from Lappin, but he then had pressure applied to him and the kick was turned over, and there's a little early Easter present for someone walking alongside the Carlton Oval, because that's been put right out of the ground.
There it is again, Gary. In front, Livingston, under pressure. Good tackle from Corns.
Port Adelaide, 3 straight goals in this third quarter. In fact, they have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals in this game. Carlton not registering a goal since the 16-minute mark of the second quarter.
They're going to do something about the clearances, Carlton. They're getting slaughtered.
There's another one. A great example of what Gerard was talking about. The kick forward from James has been marked by the big fella Brogan, deep in attack.
Interesting forward set-up. They had 5 players down the middle of the ground, Port Adelaide, which suggests they're confident of winning it out of the middle.
Interesting that they haven't trusted Mick Martin to go back as the tall option on Brogan.
Clearances this quarter supporting Gerard's theory there. 9-3 in favour of Port Adelaide, and they have kicked 3 goals with that.
I reckon Josh Carr has lifted his game, as has Roger James.
Brogan, basketballing background in the family, gets it to the square. Mark has been taken far too easy by Lade. Houlihan was caught without a jump over a taller opponent in front of him.
Got to ask the question, where was the opposing tall? Whether it be a tall bat or the ruckman. Why wasn't the ruckman on the line?
Brogan will be looking for an assist with this goal, but Lade has been important in the takeaways as well.
Lade goals, 4 in a row in this quarter.
Week after week, I go into the streets and meet all sorts of very interesting people. If aliens were looking for intelligent life forms, they'd be very disappointed. Yep, I mean a lot of crazy fans.
But now I'm proud to tell you I've become a true crazy fan myself. And why not? Crazy Johns are the best mobile phone retailers in the country, because everyone knows they give the best deals. Crazy Johns are #1 for mobile phones. Call 13 22 99.
Crazy Johns, we love you, mate!
5 goals in a row, stretching across half-time for Port Adelaide. They're out to a 26-point lead, the biggest of the game so far. Brogan waits under it. Wiggins a takeaway, and the Carlton fans cheer. They get one out of the middle. Overrunning it, Cotton. Picked up one hand for Bowler. Can he inspire? Around the body to full forward. Wanganeen got back. And he allows it out of play. And there'll be a ball in back pocket for Port Adelaide.
Lance Whitnell's had to go to half back. Jared, he's gone on the Lade, so in the driver's seat, Mark Williams and his coaching staff at the moment starting to dictate terms a little.
Great quarter of football for Port, 26 points. The margin, it was all square just 16 minutes ago. Ball in the Carlton 50. Hickmott been dangerous. 2 goals in the first quarter. Kick around the body. Couldn't mark it then. Fisher. And still no deliberate. Jared Healy disgusted, and so is that man there. Why, he says.
Just consistency. Are we in harmony with that?
We are in harmony, in concert.
All back into play. The Carlton fans were in concert, that's for sure. Hickmott tries to break through. McCormick. Murphy appeals for a high free kick. He wanted it. And really, the umpire was about 5 metres away. Said you played for him. Natives getting a little restless at Optus Oval. All slapped down in the direction of James, as Gerard Healy said about 5 minutes ago, playing a good quarter until now. Just needs to address his left foot kicks, especially those he intends to find the boundary line. Free kick, Houlihan. Slips a pass, Wanganeen cuts it off in front of Favola. Body on the line as always, Gavin Wanganeen. And the ball in will occur forward pocket for the Blues. Reckon important, BT, that Port Adelaide realised there they've just lost the momentum somewhat and get a defensive mindset. This will be Carlton's chance there to kick a couple of goals.
Yep, they'd be just happy with a draw level situation here for the next 3 or 4 minutes, you would think. And perhaps that's the first sign of it there. Happy to concede the boundary throw-in.
Clearances here tell the story. Halfway through the second quarter, they started to get a bit of a rattle on, and this quarter have absolutely dominated. So put to the sword a bit here, Carlton. We'll find out a little bit about them.
26-point advantage for Port in what can be described as a fairly undermanned size. They're short of many of their stars. 7 3/4 minutes remaining in the quarter. Inside the forward 50 for the Blues. Allen back in action today for the first time. Knocked down to Lappin. What else could he do?
You idiot, I think he fell over too.
What else could he do in that situation? They haven't played them all day, and then they play that one.
Well, the rule makers have confused the men in white to the extent that the players and the fans are getting frustrated. Corns. Sean Burgoyne, Peter Burgoyne, inside 50, wants to get on his right, stuck on his left, kicks it with the left anyway.
The new Commodore. It's like corners were made for it.
Port Adelaide with a thumping third quarter. They've kicked 5 straight goals. And they've kicked 9 of the last 10. And they lead by 32 points, nearing the 3/4 time siren. Wiggins. Thornton. Every time they get a possession now, Carlton. Port are all over them.
Jed Corns' physical presence has been important this quarter too. He's laid a couple of big tackles. He's given a few throughs away, but he's made a bit of a statement.
Kick to Lappin. Lappin made it work. Quick handball to Camporelli out the back door. Favola, 1-on-2. Mark. Hickman almost took it off him. Favola said, no way, this one's mine. And he'll kick it from about 40 out, almost directly in front. Brendan Favola has had just a couple of opportunities today, has 1 goal to his name, and a chance to appease the members a little at the members' end of the ground.
Robbo, just very briefly, you were down there. Was there any other option for Lappin?
Absolutely none. To palm it off the way he did to Camporelli was absolutely sensational.
For the Blues, first goal of the quarter. We've played 21 minutes. Favola comes in and nails that one. Blues have got their first of the quarter and stopped the run of 5 goals.
8:30 Monday, Millionaire Unmasked, Britain's quiz chief who caused a worldwide sensation.
I am innocent.
For the first time, the infamous coughing episode on Millionaire.
Have you got a strategy?
Who Wants to Steal a Million premieres 8:30 Monday.
Last year, it was television's biggest event. Now, from the producers of the original Smash, 2 fascinating new specials. Test Australia, the National Driving Test, the National IQ Test, soon on 9.
Favola breaks Port Adelaide's run of 6 goals in a row across half-time and gives the Blues a chance late in this third term to fight back. Allen in the ruck. Big knockdown, Brogan, but knocked it to Lappin. Handball's wide, hoping for Murphy. Overruns it, Wanganeen with him. Murphy again. Cooter, could he be the man? Wobbles it towards half-forward. McCormack couldn't trap it. Camporelli does. Allen from 40 to full forward. 1-on-1 for Favola. Kick hard, smothered. Bishop with a hand-on ball, and it is a behind. And Crazy Joe Favola is not happy.
You asked if Cooley could be the man. He's had just one kick, and that was it in this term. He's clearly labouring under the corgi to his right thigh.
Yeah, I have watched him, Jared, the last couple of minutes, and he's not moving with anything like the freedom that he was earlier in this game. And well, he can be exploited. With this Port Adelaide side on the burst, it's going to be a bit of a worry.
Just under 6 minutes, 25 points. Port Adelaide. Paxman took Favola on. Long ball out to half-back, Carlton marks. Uncontested in the end. Stevens giving them a bit of a run through the mid. And this man here has been fantastic. Kicked a miraculous goal. Long ball again. Very quick into attack as seen. Peter Burgoyne mark on the boundary. He plays on. Brings it back on the left foot. Turns it inside out. Right foot inside out kick. You are just a marvel, Peter Burgoyne, to kick your third.
So Brendan Lane is one of the great shepherds.
I mean, I've been into a supermarket before and there's been barcodes on a plastic bag and it's been twisted around like that and they've been trying to scan it and trying to scan it and trying to scan it and trying to scan it. And it can just go on for days. I mean, it could go on for days. I mean, obviously common sense would prevail and they'd just put the number in. But, I mean, that's the sort of thing that really, I mean, that's why you have barcodes. So you don't have to put the number in, so you don't have to put the number in, then pull that handle down on the cash register. I mean, it used to take years. I mean, well, that was obviously before my time, so I can't really imagine that, you know, I can only imagine that it took years. But, I mean, with something like this, I mean, that's a good service.
The Burgoyne boys are hot. 5 years between them. 6 goals between them so far this afternoon. Brogan in the ruck, thumps it all the way towards centre-half forward. Guerra was there, beaten for it by Beaumont. Hacks it towards half forward with Hardwick. Recruited by Port Adelaide to add some toughness to the back line. Ex-Essendon best and fairest player finds Corns, who has been inspiring.
Good on Josh Carr at the moment.
High kick by Corns. Getting back. Wiggins lane. Too clever for Martin, who claims he touched it, as you would expect. Brendan Lane from just outside 50. Saw his good friend Darren Lehman make a century for Australia last night. They race horses together. And from outside 50, he gets a chance to keep Port Adelaide's long run towards victory going. High, long kick. Just offline, a behind.
Some good signs for Brendan Lane. He's taken a couple of strong marks.
32 points up Port, their last win in Melbourne, coming at this very oval against this opposition by 9 points in round 19 of last year. Camporelli, wide, looking for Thornton, who contested the ball well. Short ball to Houlihan, only a good finisher. No exception here, Hickmott, who presents nicely. Favola's one out on the lead, but Montgomery's got back to cover that up now. So Hickmott has to draw the ball back to the middle. Favola, almost a one-hander. Soccer off the ground. Bishop has goal for the Blues.
They want to be close enough, Jared. You want it, from a Carlton point of view, they need to be close enough at three-quarter time to believe that they're a real chance. And then anything can happen. They haven't given in by any stretch of the imagination. They've been up against it this quarter, but they continue to come.
And I think, Gary, if they can just get another one, or possibly two, then they go in with some momentum going their way. At the moment, they're well down.
Brad Fisher, the 72nd pick in the 2002 draft for Carlton. They had a couple of their early draft choices taken off them, but Fisher looks the goods from the ball up. Port Adelaide, another takeaway. Nick Stevens to Chad Corns. Wobbly ball inside 50. Sean Burgoyne. Mick Martin back to the pack. Sean's coming at him. Mickey Martin. Well, the picture tells the story. No need for words to be added.
Stevens once again, though, another takeaway.
Kane Corns from the pocket. Look out!
That's a great goal. That is really rubbing salt into the proverbial blue wound.
What they didn't want, they just And we don't want to be overly critical of Mick, but I mean, you've got to have some composure in that situation and dribble that ball anyway, and then just run the risk of being pinged for deliberate out of bounds.
I'm surprised he didn't just go for the goals.
Well,
a rush behind.
The state of the game, you much rather would. A bit of brotherly love there.
So both Corns featuring on the scoreboard. Kane getting the last of the goals there, and Port Adelaide by 32 points as we near the end with 3.5 minutes remaining of this third quarter. Hardwick bangs it back to half forward. Martin, safe mark. Mickey, a standing start. Kick is good. Murphy, centre wing, looking to move it quickly to Camporelli, who accepts. Montgomery looking to hold up. The centering ball was meant for McCormack, but Kane Corns did well. Got it off to Montgomery, and they're away Port through the midfield.
This bloke has slaughtered the wingers this team. Both of them. Carr's done well as well. Goes wide. The run from Schofield, and he gets there. Too far out to score. Looks for the pass, and the Burgoyne boys are everywhere. And Peter will line up a goal from just outside 50. Gavin Wanganese had 6 kicks. He probably averages about 50 metres a kick. But he's also run about 2 kilometres with the footy, Gary, so he's had a hell of a lot of influence on the quarter.
He's out on the wing. I'd like to see him out on the wing, Jared. It is a wonderful position for someone like a Wanganese.
Well, you have written about that, Gary, and you think that the wing may be on the way back.
It's been effective today.
Edging close to three-quarter time. This would be a blow to the half. Peter Burgoyne. He has 3. Can he make it 4? Sprays it very wide. Big leap over the top. And the ball will be out of play contently from Spawn. And we'll get a ball in. 2 minutes remaining, third term, and how the Blues fans would love to see that man on.
Yes. Will he get back on? Got a bit of a knock just before half-time. Corns. Kane, turn around, spinning shot at goal, hit the post. And a minor score. So in this quarter, Port have added 7 goals to Carlton's 2, and their lead is now 33 points.
Camporelli long to Lappin. Can they find something in the closing 2 minutes? Thought about a second bounce. Goes long and high. Hickmott's got 3 to beat. Crunch with Mark Montgomery. Hickmott was never a chance to get near that. Under their previous coach in Wayne Britton, they would have gone shorter then to Trent Spawn, who would run so well to the wing, and yet no doubt Houlihan has been told, in fact Lappin has been told, to kick the ball longer.
I think they set up for that, Port Adelaide too. He's been sweeping across there, Montgomery, all quarter, and done it effectively.
Bishop received it from Montgomery, goes back to Montgomery, and the man who played for the Bulldogs and Essendon's reserves just sucks a few seconds off the clock.
So has he not been manned up in this quarter then, Gary?
He spent a lot of time loose, just floating across half-back, and it's surprising that they allowed to happen. It's been under siege, I think, the Carlton side, so they put a loose down and cross half-back to try and stem the flow.
High ball, big pack of players. Kane Corn stayed down. Stevens, Carr. Nice backward step, kicks to half forward, getting back and thumping towards the boundary line. Trent Spawn, and we'll get a ball in inside a minute, 50 metres from Port Adelaide's goal. Right now they've got Peter Burgoyne in the goal square against McCarty.
Peter has 3, Sean has 3. McCormick. James, who's been a significant contributor this quarter as well, locks the ball in with under half a minute remaining. So Mark Williams has really opened the Blues up in this third quarter with a free-flowing running game from defence, and the Burgoynes have cut loose, and James will get a free kick just to top off the quarter.
Once again, just being murdered at the takeaways, the Blues. And under pressure, you give away silly free kicks like that one from Barnaby French, former Port Adelaide player.
So if James kicks this goal, not only will the lead be 39 points at three-quarter time, but it will be the best third quarter of any team this year.
And coming in, Gary, I think you highlighted just how poor Port's third terms have been, so they'd be thrilled
will make it 8 goals for the quarter if James is successful. He is. 39-point advantage. What a fine quarter of football from Port Adelaide. They opened it up with 4 straight goals. James capping that off for the best third quarter of any team in the competition this year.
16 clearances, Port Adelaide to 6. Carlton tells the story. There it is, 14-10, 94, Port Adelaide lead the Blues, 8-7, 55.
Another night of violent protests at Baxter. 17 more arrested. And Darren delivers, making his first Test century.
In the end, it was Gordon that paid the ultimate price.
Putting trees before people.
Just the little things that you miss.
Pig-headed council stopping you protecting your family and your home.
Change the tree preservation order now.
When Nissan presents A Current Affair with Ray Martin.
The new Commodore. It's like corners were made for it.
Big savings on a big range of hardware in Stratco's big sale. Stratco colour roofing from just $9.95 a lineal metre. Laserlight 2000 polycarbonate roofing only $14.50 a metre. 24-month interest-free terms on Stratco Outbacks with a bonus $150 gift voucher. Black & Decker circular saw just $89 with a bonus blade. And Stratco colour fence sheets, great value at $11.65 each.
What you need today, it's big.
Nearest 7 safe, thanks, mate.
Just make it $1, sunshine.
Oh yeah, there's some with the numbers slightly smudged. That can be a real problem, because even if it doesn't scan, say it's on a packet of frozen chips, and they're quite the worst things for scanning, I can tell you that much. And then they have to put the number, and they get to a number and it's slightly smudged. I mean, they have to call the manager sometimes in the supermarket. It can just lead to hours and hours, well, not hours, I'm exaggerating here, you know, minutes of complete turmoil in the supermarket. But then I take it back and I put it in the book, and order is restored. And you know what I think if they could do?
Some people see me as debonair, a bon vivant, a sophisticated man about town. But there's another player who fits that category. Crazy John. Like me, he's been around a while and has plenty of experience where mobile phones are concerned. You get the best deal with Crazy John's. He's Australia's best mobile phone retailer. I'm with Crazy. So if you need a mobile, remember, Crazy John's for mobile phones. Call 13 22 99.
Crazy Johns, we love you, mate.
Let's just not pretend there's anything to learn here. I killed him.
9 years on.
You're fired.
Hey, where are you going?
One drama.
Need a doctor over here?
Let's go.
Gets better with age.
In the season ahead, ER delivers more drama.
What do you want from me? I just want to help you.
More romance.
Ooh, hot date.
More surprising moments than ever before. ER returns 8:30 Thursday on 9.
This AFL coverage proudly brought to you by Holden Commodore, Sky City Adelaide and CA.
Welcome back to Optus Oval. An 8-goal third quarter to Port Adelaide has blown this game out of the water. It was the best third quarter of the season, and they lead 14-10, 94 to the Blues, 8-7, 55. Goal kickers to date in what has been a fair game of footy. Brendan Favola 2, Hickmott 2, singles, Camp Rally Spawn, Kudafidis and Fisher. For Port Adelaide, it's the Burgoyne boys. They're on fire, 3 apiece, singles, Collins, Lade, Montgomery, James and Wanganeen. Well, they did have some trouble, Port Adelaide, in third quarters for the first 3 rounds of this season. They'd kicked a total of 4 goals, 7 in the first 3 rounds for the third quarter. Today they kicked 8-4 and they look very impressive in doing it, Jared.
They did, and I reckon that they were led by Gavin Wanganeen, a former captain who got back to his very best form, and I think they played their style of footy. In the first half they were trapped into the Carlton way of playing, and yet after half-time they set the structure up and they absolutely dominated. Lade was outstanding, Carr at the bottom of the packs. I think Chad Corns up forward and Kane Corns, his brother, around the packs also got on the end of some great work from Wanganeen and Montgomery.
Michael Roberts will join us shortly with their coach Dean Bailey. Let's have a look at the clearances. The centre breaks tells a massive story. They were getting first crack at it, and the total clearance is more, in fact, double the amount of Carlton, and that has been a telling statistic. So we go down to Michael Roberts with the assistant coach of Port Adelaide, Dean Bailey.
Got you this time, Gary. 8-goal quarter, sensational stuff, blowing the game wide open.
Oh, we've got to win the last quarter. I mean, we've got to control what we can, win the last quarter. That's what's important at the moment.
You murdered them in the clearances, and you got Stevens and Wanganeen, James and Carr running through the lines. That's what you want in this last bit?
Oh, I think when you can use the ball and run with it, that's obviously to an advantage of any team. But last quarter is important. We need to win this last one.
Come on.
Dean Bailey there with Michael Roberts as we're about to get underway with this last quarter of football. Port Adelaide by 39 points. Port searching for their second successive win to kickstart season 2003. All they need is a solid last quarter. They led it by 39 points. First centre clearance is a very good sign from James, and Whitnell gets on the end of it at centre half back. Kick to Kudafidis at half forward, who's being held. Montgomery marked. Good contributor in the third quarter, Hardwick. Backline really starting to gel and work together. Kane Corns, short to Wanganeen.
Continues where he left off in the third term. Still one of the leaders, even though not the captain, goes back to Hardwick, who is also leading this back line, but they've got some men of experience back there. Paxman, their fullback, is actually the captain this afternoon.
And Camporelli's gone back to the half-forward line, being picked up by Montgomery.
Whitnell flies. A free kick found by the umpire. It'll go to French. Lade saying that he was shepherded. French from the wing. Kick almost smothered. Low trajectory, Camporelli. Too far out to score. Favola's one-on-one in the square. Now Favola leads into traffic. High kick. Under it, big pack. Paxman gathers. Somehow got it in Wanganeen's direction. And they'll get out of trouble again, Port Adelaide. Wide kick. Stevens.
He's had his own football, though, Stevens.
Montgomery.
Here he goes again.
Stevens again. T.W. Stevens. Carr. Wobbly kick off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a Blues free on the wing.
They just haven't had anyone that's been able to go with him, Jared. He's racked up 28 possessions. He's taken 6 marks, and his running has been relentless.
And it hasn't just been receiving. He's been getting it out of the centre and at the packs. He's had a great game.
Hume in and under. Okay, Jared and Gary, Carlton coach, what do you do now?
I reckon I think you've got to make a critical decision. You want to have a crack at winning the game rather than trying to save any damage that might be done. So I think you've got to take big risks, play on, don't let Montgomery play loose in defence. You're never going to win while he's there, and take him on. Can't have the opportunity.
Hammett in the tackle. No free kick there. The umpire happy to ball it up on centre wing, right in front of the interchange area.
Just having a look at Kuda, BT. He looks like he's out there in name only. He really is dispirited.
Labouring as well. Struggling to put weight on his leg. Just then when I noticed McCormick inboard to the bandaged Beaumont, who got a knock earlier in the game and required some stitches just above the left eye. Kick to Hickmott, who will throw himself at the contest. We know that. Hume, the ground level, front and centre. Centering kick. He absorbed the body blow as well. Kuda through in free-flowing style. Little left foot kick around the corner. Hickmott marks on 50. Thought about it. We'll go long now for Bowler. Bishop fell over. Wanganeen fell over. Thought about conceding. Cat-like instincts there. enabling him to get it off to Hardwick. Now they've got to work hard, but they do it nicely. Or do they? Hardwick. Handball off. Hume had him in the tackle. French. Turnover. Hickmott from the boundary line. Just pops it to the square. 1 of 2 here. Favola was the second. Wanganeen off hands and sets up the acting skipper of the day, Paxman.
Like a frog with his tongue out, waiting for the fly. At the bottom of the pack, Wanganeen superb, Paxman wide, and Peter Burgoyne takes on Spawn, and away he goes. So quick, Spawn was nearly out of the picture. Inside 50, and Corns takes the mark. That's a great transition of the footy we saw. Great bouncing, great running, brilliant skills from Wanganeen to get the ball, and then Corns on the end of it. Chad over the head of Pickett, good enough to gather. Schofield gathers after the bounce and drives home. Another bit of icing.
The energy market's getting tough. Things are changing. We need an edge.
Well, let's look at the options.
When it comes to business thinking, chartered accountants have the superior training and business experience to guide your business in the right direction.
When would you like to start?
Start right now.
There is a third Burgoyne, you know.
Well, there's a third Beagle, brother.
He's only young.
When's he arriving?
Well, on the form of his two brothers, maybe shortly.
Port have had 11 goal kickers in this game today, and you've got to be happy with that when you haven't got your full complement of players available. Sharing the workload. Houlihan forward. Montgomery. Camporelli, who was spoken to in no uncertain terms at three-quarter time by his coach, Dennis Pagan. Picked up in the end there by Fisher. Left foot ball, centering. Paxman, Wanganeen keeps it in. Boundary umpire said, no, I won't have any of that.
Adrian Hickmott's come up with a corky as well.
They're getting a bit restless, but I think it is a massive corky. He's as tough as they come, Adrian Hickmott, and doesn't want to come off, but I reckon in another minute or so, you'll have no choice.
Well, he's the kind of player who doesn't think he's put in enough unless he goes off hurt. Ball in. Houlihan snaps, and that tells the tale for the Blues.
Well, if they're not careful here, Carlton, this could turn into one almighty thumping, guys.
Yeah, this is the definition of being greedy, I reckon, Gary. Nick Stevens has had it all day, and he wants to do the kick-outs.
And he does it just nicely to Schofield. He's got James further afield. He just puts it over the head into space, allowing James to run onto the ball, gather, and deliver further afield. Corns comes back on the right foot. Plenty of time to do as he wished. Burgoyne. Peter couldn't mark, gives it off to Sean, shakes the tackle, left foot kick around the corner, ricochets off the Pickett, Pickett along the ground, goal.
If you're frustrated with dial-up internet, switch to iPrimus Broadband and enjoy an always-on, frustration-free internet connection.
Byron Pickett, Port Adelaide's 12th goal kicker of the afternoon, and it's been party time since half-time. 50 points the margin. Lade takes it out of the air, couldn't quite get it away. McCormick, umpires found a free, and it'll go to French.
It's a 50-point free, huh?
Playing against his old side. Barnaby French long. Favola flies 2 against 1. Bishop, Sean Burgoyne getting back into defence to help his defenders. Makes it difficult for Hardwick. Good tackle by Fisher. No surprise to see a Fisher with a tackle. And the ball to the other side to Wanganeen again.
They have been brilliant, Port Adelaide, in the second half of football. Cut them open in the third quarter and have gone on with it by the looks of things early in this final quarter.
Montgomery, who's been just sweeping across, has taken his 10th mark, coming up for his 21st possession. He should be ruckman, this bloke.
On his own?
Yep.
Oh, you're harsh.
Montgomery. Gary really...
You won't let that go, will you?
Having a good look at the big men of our game in the last couple of weeks. And speaking very disparagingly of the taller men in our game as Nick Stevens marks.
This bloke's taken on 5 opponents and has run them all off their legs.
This man has been good as well.
Here he goes again, TW.
Stevens. Short ball into the middle.
Here he goes.
Adelaide. On to Stevens again. And out wide Carr. Gee, the combination has been good through the midfield, and Chad Corns marks.
Second half, he's risen. He's had a great year, Chad Corns, and when he was asked, he has delivered.
50 points in front at the moment are Port Adelaide. Chad Corns right on his kicking distance, I would have thought. Got to kick it all of 52 or 3 metres. Kick on the way. May just fall short. It does. Just the minor score.
Nick Stevens, the second most disposals of any player in the competition, averaging 28 per game. He now sits on 31 and has sent a few people home early.
The Terraces get up and walk, Dwayne Russell.
Murphy long, hoping for Wiggins, ended up with Lappin, gives to Beaumont. Wobbly kick towards Whitnall. Some cheers. Spins around, it kicks long for Volta, gets a one-on-one for a change and marks it. Tough mark, because he's looking straight into the westerly sun here. But he's done it quite well. Uses his body and his arms to push off, and good ball control. Brendan Favola. Kicked a couple. It'll be a consolation prize. The Blues can't win. And that, unfortunately enough, continues the run of disappointment for Blues fans. He's kicked 2 goals, 5, Brendan Favola, and his score on his back.
Has not kicked well. This time Stevens decides not to take the kick in and leaving it for Paxman.
Huddle is employed, Brian, which
indicates the man-on-man situation. The kick in, not what should have been. It was a little bit early, I thought, to Wakeland. Beaumont sends it back where it came from. The long ball being marked by Bishop. Last line of defence. This time, ought to be a little more careful in the way they take it out. Cochrane, Bishop combining. Back to Cochrane. Transferred from the Kangaroos.
TW.
Short ball out wide, finds Stevens. Took his eye off the ball momentarily. Beaumont able to get the handball over the top to Fisher. Fisher sets sail from 45 metres out, dragged it too much. Port Adelaide next week will confront Adelaide at Football Park, and the Blues have got the Kangaroos at the Telstra Dome.
Mistake number 1 for Nick Stevens. Maybe we can put it down to fatigue.
Paxman to bring it in, Port Adelaide. This team out there at the moment without probably their best 3 players, Primus, Franco and Treadray. The kick in, untidy. Schofield content to see the ball roll across the line, and also Dew and Kingsley not in Port Adelaide's lineup either. Carlton still without a win at Optus Oval last year and this year combined.
Steve Paxman will not kick in again today, rest assured. I just saw him indicate that he'd had enough.
Big fly over the top, ball straight through the legs of Wiggins. Paxman will have to kick anyway, kicks around the body, and this was some precision. Here's that man again. 1, let's count them, 2. Thought about 3, but goes to Burgoyne of the Sean variety, and he takes the mark on the wing.
He does. Gee, they present up nicely, the Burgoyne boys. Schofield, centering kick. Finds Kane Corns, no one on the mark, so he turns around, goes for the Heatley stand goal, and has nailed it. Got his second, and they have kicked 5 straight once again, Port Adelaide.
Before you buy spectacles from anyone, come into the Optical Superstore and check our prices. Our spectacle frame prices on our huge range are about half the price you'd expect to pay elsewhere. You're welcome to compare prices with the Optical Superstore. Also, in most cases, Medibank Private Extras members receive spectacles with no out-of-pocket expenses. Come in and compare prices at the Optical Superstore. The Optical Superstore, located in Westfield Tea Tree Plaza, Maya Marion and the Maya Centre City.
Last season, Carlton won its first game for the year in round 3, and everyone thought the Blues were back. They went on to win the wooden spoon this year. They won their first game in round 3. People thought they were back again. Similarly, Port lost their first couple last year. Finished minor premiers, lost their first couple this year. They look to be back. McKay around the body to half forward. Off hands, Wanganeen again, half hill. Umpire said play on. Hume picks up from 40 metres out. And another behind.
I think it may have been Sam Newman that uttered those words that they are back, referring to the Blues, Dwayne, our own.
I think he may have vehemently argued against it.
Oh, did he?
On your very radio station, where the suggestion was made they're back, and he said, well, let's just wait 3 or 4 weeks to find out whether they are.
Well,
might be a bit of a reality check.
May well be. Port in possession with under 10 minutes remaining in the game, and the margin is 54 points.
Just as a little side story to this match, I'm pretty confused at the moment about the deliberate out of bounds. I just think the umpires and the footballers, the rules committee, have got to get together and say this is deliberate, this is not deliberate, because clearly we've had a couple of shockers today.
I think when they made the rule, they perhaps thought it would be easier than it is to adjudicate what is and what is not. It's a perception thing, as so many umpiring decisions are. An interpretation. Livingston. Short ball, Camporelli. Got Camporelli. 17 possessions for today at half-back. Just happy to let time pass by. There's no urgency in what the Blues are doing. McCormick. Kick into the middle of the ground. Got the numbers there, the Blues. Spawn, outstretches. Flex the mark. Now, Favola's a genuine one-on-one, but the kick-in is ordinary. Hume. Speed. Handball off. Davies. Might have been Fisher, in fact. It was. Around the corner, and just the minor score.
Boys, you get Cooter off the ground. I don't know what the point in having your best player, your most valuable commodity on the ground when you're behind by 53 points with, what, 10 minutes to go?
Stevens again. He's had it for a long time, for the duration of this game, and just then. Paxton. Wide and high. Fly comes. Ball knocked away from Salopek. Well, White. 2 young stars of the game. Well played by both of them. Diving through Murphy. Was on loan to Geelong for a little while. Back at the Blues now. Finds Houlihan. Spears the ball inside 50. Lance. Lance may well go back and kick this goal, but if you're a stats man, there's only one stat really that counts at the moment, and that's the fact that T.W. Sherrin, or Nick Stevens, has had 41 possessions. I played once when I was just a youngster against Peter Featherby, who picked up 42 possessions in a match, and I think Greg Williams may have got a 50 at some stage. But Nick Stevens, in fact, we've gone too much. He's had 33. But it's been an enormous return as Lance Whitnell finally gets on the scoreboard.
Sport's most sensational showdown when Annika takes on the best blokes in the world. And the breast cancer test, hijacked by big business.
Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yes. 60 Minutes, tonight.
He knew the law, but forgot the rules.
Daddy stole your car, broke into your house.
Kenneth Branagh leads an all-star cast in John Grisham's first-class thriller.
This is not about me anymore. This is about my kids.
The Gingerbread Man, tonight on 9.
Carlton, a token goal there from their gun forward, Lance Whitnell. 47 points in arrears, the Blues, as this game closes out. Stevens, yet another one. Gerard, 34. Counting them. Players converge. No winner there.
To put it into context, and I know the game is played differently, but Nick Stevens is a big possession winner, but a bloke like Greg Williams averaged 32, 33 possessions for just about his entire career. But this that takes nothing away from Stevens. He'll get another one here to bring up 35.
And he may even finish with a goal, but the Hume tackle denied him of that. Chad Corns tried to zig and zag. Spawn, his feet were taken out from under him, and he was unloaded. May have even been weight. It was
84 more possessions overall, Port Adelaide. Now that is the equivalent of 4 pretty good midfield players. So it's been a fierce spanking, particularly after half-time.
And they showed there they're as desperate in the final minutes as they were in the opening minutes. Laid around the body, high towards the goal square. Big pack. Done through for a behind by Fisher. I think the possessions are an interesting stat, Gary. It's more... In the first half, you had Port Adelaide getting heaps of it, but playing poorly. But when you had the run to their possessions, that's when they're damaging.
And some purpose too, Jerry. They were still hanging in Carlton with less possessions in the first half, but they've had much more purpose, Port Adelaide, after half-time.
The punch away from the Murphy kick-in. We'll see a boundary throw-in at half-forward for Port Adelaide, right in front of the Carlton Social Club. So Carlton, as I said, the Kangaroos next week, Hawthorn, St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs. That is their next month. Laid over the top. Murphy. Houlihan. Brings it back down the line. Geez, good on both sides. Whitnell stood and tried to mark. Wanganeen, superb third quarter. Carlton. Eventually able to get the ball out, indiscriminately though, I might add. Hume was able to get on the end of it. McCormick couldn't mark. Guerra keeps his feet.
That was the difference, wasn't it? One went to ground, the other man stayed up. Paxman, short pass backwards to Salopek. No, it's not, it's Cochrane.
We'll get there to Salopek.
Still free Salopek. Now taken by Lade. Salopek dancing around in the midfield, hoping for a possession, spent most of the game on the bench. He's still at school, 16 years old, and goes to school across the road from Albertson.
16, can he?
High kick. Whitnell inside 50. Off hands, picked up by Spawn. Gives to Houlihan, goal.
Easter is the perfect time to get into Bunnings Warehouse and get everything for that Easter project. We're open all Easter long weekend, except Good Friday.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Macaroni cheese snack stop. We love it. Don't we, Grant?
This is a seriously big snack, Darren.
I love it.
I tell you who really loves it. Absolutely loves it.
Yeah, who?
Your mum.
Snack Stop from Maggie.
Your mum loves it.
Carlton pegging them back with 2 straight goals. They are back within 42 points. Laid in the middle. Kutafiti's still out there, guys. And centre half forward. Maybe he has said that he doesn't want to come off, Gary. That may be, or you can think, the only possible reason.
Have to be the only reason, Brian. Otherwise, you'd be wanting to know why.
Nick Stevens with 35, Wanganeen with 25, and Josh Carr with 23. They may look similar to the way the votes line up at the end of the match.
I was going to say that. Not often that the top possession winners necessarily get the top votes, but they were probably the 4 best players on the ground.
Waite arrives for the Blues. Some help from Hume in the background. McCormick, good-looking youngster for the Blues. Camporelli, able to take an uncontested ball. He's kicked forward. It was low. It was heading in the final direction, but it was cut off. And Mark Williams, I believe, has done a great job with a side that was missing many of its stars today.
Joe Polton's been pretty important too. He came on the ground, went on to Hickmott, who was giving him a few problems, and we might get the 41 with Nick Stevens by the end of the match.
Tommy Stevens kicks long inside 50, had so much of it. It's been an unbelievable performance by a number of players, that man included. Chad Corns, who says hello to the crowd. Dennis Pagan tasting defeat for the first time in 10 coaching performances against Port Adelaide. And there's your top 5 clearances. And that's what is a major aspect of Nick Stevens' game. If he can continue to get those clearances, he goes up in my book as a midfielder. Corns pushes out Livingston, high kick towards the goal square. Schoenberg on Lappin, handball smothered by Pickett. Ball in the pack, McKay gets it out, Lappin to half-back, but Port Adelaide with the numbers again. Wanganeen, Montgomery, around the body to the loose man at half-forward, Schofield, and he holds it up.
Schofield at half-forward with under 3.5 minutes left in the game. Short ball to Polton, punched away. Lappin got a hand there, needs another one, and it was there. Davies went for the third there. Lappin, Paxman retreating. Handball under enormous pressure to Wanganeen. Paxman goes on with a bit of a fight with Davies in the background. In the meantime, you saw it there in the background. Montgomery has the ball. The youngster getting mixed up with a man that knows his way round. Murphy scrounges the ball at ground level, fed it out. Whitnell, the intended target here. Paxman, genuine one-on-one contest here. Lance kept his composure, gave it off to Davies. He needs clean hands and a bit of poise for Bowler. The finishing shepherd allows Davies to kick his first.
7:30 Monday on Friends.
You wanted to see me, Professor Geller?
He might be the teacher, but she's the one with all the tricks.
Oops. Didn't mean to run into you like that, sir.
Ross's Romance rolls on. Friends, 7:30 Monday on 9.
Mom, my stomach hurts. So's mine.
Has Malcolm said too much?
You're going to have to start him in an IV. Catherine?
Oh, not me again. Please.
And that's only the beginning. Malcolm following Friends, 8 o'clock Monday on 9.
Inside, 3 minutes remaining. Ball in the middle. Adelaide to do the right work against Allen. Salopek playing centre at the moment for Port Adelaide. I'll get his age right. He is 17. Hume wobbles it inside 50. And the mark taken by Wakeland in defence.
Not many other numbers you can have a go at there, Twain. You've covered all three in the category of 16, 17 and 18.
He's had a good day, Gavin Wanganeen. He's neither 16, 17 or 18, but he's had a very good afternoon.
Short to Bishop. It's hard working with blokes who've never made a mistake. Short back to Wanganeen, and he takes the mark at half-back. Camberelli on Nick Stevens.
Wanganeen at half-back. Carlton with the last 3 goals, just to tidy up the scoreboard a little. The transfer of play to Wakeland. Couple of bounces. Paxman desperately wants it through the middle, but Wakeland goes wide, finds Montgomery.
It's been a fair transition in Scott Camberelli's game over the last few years. When Carlton were the powerhouse when he first came here, he was a running, attacking footballer with a massive reputation. Right now he's been reduced to somebody who has to be put on somebody else because he's being heavily restricted as an individual.
1.5 minutes, and the ball is in the hands of Byron Pickett. Has added something to the Port Adelaide side in the way of defensive skills and perhaps even the occasional spell up forward. Montgomery, laid. Montgomery hatching it. Taken out of there by Fisher. Driving ball for Vola. All over him is Bishop. Pickett, support, takes them on. Almost caught the second time. Got it off to Bishop. Vola having a dance with his opponent. And the free kick will go to Cochrane.
37 possessions is the most any players had this season. That is Paul Hazenby and Nick Stevens. Cochrane sends it back to Bishop. Cochrane, having played 50 games for the Kangaroos. Bishop finds Polk. Just running down the clock now, Paxman. Half-back flank, and Port Adelaide content to see it out here without any addition to the score. Paxman captaining the side today.
He's still running Nick Stevens as hard or as close to as hard as he could in the first minute of this game. And to me, take the possessions away, his weight intercepts. It's his work ethic that's been the most impressive thing.
Shouldn't he slow down a bit and save himself for next week?
50-minute penalty, and Jared Waite will get a shot at goal.
Don't flirt with your form. I think he looks like he's enjoying himself anyway. And, well, if the Blues kick the last 4 of the game, that's something to go to work on when you get back here to training tomorrow morning for the recovery session. I don't say it facetiously. I think it's important that they didn't get absolutely smashed out of the water.
Mark Williams with a smile on his face.
Get a bit of advice down there, do you reckon, Chopper?
Yeah, I think there'll be plenty of free advice. You dish a bit out. There's Waite. Gets himself something to smile about, but it won't be too broad. A late goal for Carlton. Not long to go, and it's been a horrible Easter for Carlton. Gary, 1 year at Melbourne, you weren't there, but Ron Barassi took over. The Messiah came back to the club, and Melbourne were duly beaten by the Saints by a fair margin on Easter Saturday. Well, on Easter Sunday, Barassi made the team run 4 laps of the town, about 15 kilometres. The same again on Easter Monday and Easter Tuesday.
How'd you go the next week?
When we were back to work, 75 100s.
Carlton are coming, but it's all too late. They have kicked 4 in a row to finish off the game with just seconds remaining. That will be the final score, a 30-point margin, fittingly ending in the hands of Burgoyne, and the Burgoyne boys today just sensational up forward. 3 goals for Peter. Sean kicked 3 as well, and Mark Williams, a very happy coach, one would think, to win away, to win on the road for any team is a good effort, and one that perhaps you thought you wouldn't get.
No, it's a terrific result, really, for Port Adelaide. Their season started shakily. We know they had some injury problems and some preparation problems, but 30 points in the end, it may even flatter Carlton to some extent. I mean, they kicked 4 late goals. They were well on the way to being absolutely smashed out of the park, and maybe Port Adelaide just took the foot off the pedal, and Carlton kept coming to their credit. They won the last quarter of the Blues by 9 points, but really it was a belting. And that man, Anthony Koutafidis, got a badly corked thigh. Surprised he saw the game out, but nevertheless, it is their second win for the season, Port Adelaide. 17-12, 114 to the tune of 30 points over the Blues, 12-12, 84.
On The Bachelor, we've seen heartache, we've seen romance, we've seen tears. Now, it's time to see who wins.
I don't play a game to lose. Excuse me. Where are your panties? Aaron has them.
From 25 girls, it's down to 2.
Our boy has to choose.
Brooke or Helene, who will it be? In a 90-minute television event, will he propose? Will she say yes?
Very good question.
The stunning conclusion of The Bachelor, 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
They make me feel better sometimes, because I look at my book of barcodes, and sometimes when I'm feeling like adrift in the world and I don't really know my place or something's going wrong, I can look at the barcodes and I can think, there's something that knows certainly what it's meant to do. It has one task, and it gets that information across. It's really beautiful in a way. They're quite the most delightful things. They give me great comfort, I suppose, with their single mission in life.
It's a lovely, warm, sunny afternoon here in the backyard. He's only 6.5 years old.
Good boy.
300,000. Very good indeed. Getting to 500,000 isn't easy. So when a PlayStation 2 game sells that many, it goes platinum. The best games like Final Fantasy X and GT Concept now from only $49.95. Only the best go platinum, PlayStation 2.
I solve with the living room. I solve with the floorboards. We solve with the bed.
I solve with the ceiling.
We solve with the stairs. We solve with the candles. I solve with the bathroom.
We solve with the whole house.
I help too. Whatever you want to paint or decorate, visit a Solver Decorator Centre and we'll help you solver it. Let them solve it.
Our designers invented the turbocharger, pioneered the crash test, and introduced the safety belt. They are innovations that have made us Europe's largest and one of Australia's fastest growing automotive brands, and creators of some of the most original and innovative cars in the world. Renault. We don't just make cars, we create cars.
If you're frustrated with dial-up internet, switch to iPrimus Broadband and enjoy an always-on, frustration-free internet connection.
Tuesday, a victim indeed. One way to find her.
I guess we follow the dirt.
And an answer no one's ready for.
The evidence doesn't.
CSI, special time, 9 o'clock. Then...
Put the weapon on the ground.
A streetwise girl with a terrible secret.
I killed someone.
But that's not it.
What?
This one will sting them all. All new Stingers, special time, 10 o'clock. On Channel 9's Tuesday.
There it is, a very impressive win to Port Adelaide. 30 points in the end, 4 late goals to Carlton, just putting some respectability back onto the scoreline. An 8-goal third quarter was what set them up, and they were very impressive after what was a sluggish first half of football.
Yeah, and look at the goal kickers there. Favola and Hickmont, the only 2 players for Carlton that got in multiple figures. And the impressive thing about Port's win, Gary, they kicked so many goals and shared it around so much, with the Burgoyne brothers being the contributors there. And, well, the Corns brothers got through between them as well, so a bit of competition between the brothers.
They've got some talent in that lineup, no question about that, and I reckon Mark Williams would be well pleased with today's performance. There's no great fear here at Optus Oval for this Port Adelaide side, and they did it in pretty good fashion. Their third quarter was the sort of footy that we've come to expect from Port.
Yeah, I think any side that wins away from their home state or away from their home ground, you go away thinking it's an 8-point victory. And Mark Williams will be particularly pleased. And I think particularly pleased with the form of Brendan Lade, who came in, filled a hole where Primus had left, and Brendan Lade now comes back as a major force to be reckoned with in that team.
If they can just hang in there, Port Adelaide, and win more games than they lose, obviously, without Warren Treadray, Matthew Primus, we expect he'll be back shortly. I mean, it is a big play today, and at half-time, there would have been some nervous faces back in Adelaide, I'm sure, but they would have put them to rest in that third quarter.
Yeah, well, up until half-time, we did say that both sides were playing the Carlton style of footy, and Dennis Pagan would have been pretty happy. Changed completely after half-time, as we see Chad Corns there talking to Mark Williams, and he has got a big smile on his face. Why wouldn't he?
Yes, indeed. It was a big game. Adelaide took on the West Coast Eagles in the other big game of the day, Jared. If you don't want to know the final score, we suggest you look away now. Well, it's been a big Easter Sunday of footy, Jared. There's still a game to be played around to see us through round 4. A couple of big results. You just take it easy for the rest of the day, young fella. Catch up with the family, dish out the eggs, and we appreciate you joining us.
Gary, it was a pleasure, and it was a great win by Port Adelaide.
We'll see you next weekend on Sunday Football.
AFL Premiership 2003, proudly brought to you by Carlton, brewed since 1864, and our telecast sponsors, CA, employ our thinking. Primus Telecom, delivering the real value of communication. Sky City Adelaide, the place to see footy on the big screen. Crazy Johns, for the best deals in mobile phones. And Amy, lucky you're with Amy.
7:30 Monday on Friends.
You wanted to see me, Professor Geller?
He might be the teacher, but she's the one with all the tricks.
Oops. Didn't mean to run into you like that, sir.
Ross's Romance rolls on. Friends, 7:30 Monday on 9.
Mom, my stomach hurts. So's mine.
Has Malcolm said too much?
Going to have to start him in an IV. Catherine?
Oh, not me again. Please.
And that's only the beginning. Malcolm following Friends, 8 o'clock Monday on 9.
This news break is brought to you by Bank SA, the Bank of South Australians.
Good afternoon. Another 17 people have been arrested during more violence outside the Baxter Detention Centre. Protesters threw rocks and containers at police who again formed a human barricade against the crowd. The federal government has agreed to pay the estimated $1 million bill to send our police to the area. The death toll from the SARS virus has soared, with another 12 people dying in Hong Kong. The disease has prompted a massive clean-up there, with an army of volunteers disinfecting the city. Coming up next, the Crows versus West Coast.